It is my favorite time of year to decorate and DIY for the holidays. Stick with me because I'm going to show you all the new items that Dollar Tree has out for Christmas and give you ideas on how you can decorate your home. One of the first items to come out at Dollar Tree are the ornaments. Let me show you some of my favorites. All right, are these houses new? I don't feel like I've seen them before. Which one would you guys like, the red or the green? These are interesting. These are like kind of a rattan or cane webbing ornament. These larger Christmas ornaments are really nice. They come in a bunch of different finishes. You can get like a shiny satin one. They also have the glitter and a matte finish. These craft sticks are great for wall art projects.
I'm going to show you how to put together a fun wall art piece. So with your craft sticks, I'm going to hot glue 2 of them together. Then I'm going to hot glue 2 more to create a plus symbol. Next, I'm going to add in 4 more craft sticks for a total of 8 craft sticks. Once that has a chance to dry, you're going to come back in and add 2 craft sticks on each of the ends and then put them together to create a point. You're going to do that going around, adding in 2 and then putting them at a point to create a star. For this project, I'm going to be using some thin garland that I picked up from Hobby Lobby. I'm going to start on the outside edge, hot gluing the garland down. You want to make sure you put enough hot glue on your entire craft stick. Once that dries, you're going to bend your garland because there's a wire in there so it bends really nicely. Push the garland down flat and hot glue it in place. You're going to do this until you get around your entire garland. Once you get to the end, make sure you cut off any excess. Next, you're going to add the garland to the inside portion of your stars, cutting when needed. Now, on this piece, I didn't overlap any of the garland just to give it a really consistent look. This is a nice lightweight wall decor that you can set out with your decor or hang on your wall.
So the nutcrackers are definitely not new, but they sell out quickly. So if you want them for a DIY, pick them up now. These wood shapes could make really cool projects. I'm gonna grab the trees, but they also have them in the angels. Oh my gosh, look how cute those little mini trees are. I feel like I can never find the ribbon that I want from Dollar Tree, so when I see the ribbons that I know I'm gonna want for the season, I definitely pick them up.
Now with the ribbon that I just purchased at Dollar Tree, I'm going to add it to some candles that I already had on hand. You're gonna roughly measure with your ribbon a little bit longer than your candles and cut that off, and then just create several pieces of ribbon. I'm going to be using a product called Scotch Spray Adhesive. I'll link it for you down in the description box, but this product is great for adding fabric to really any item. So I'm going to flip the ribbon onto the back and I'm going to spray on the spray adhesive. Then I'm going to lay the ribbon with the spray adhesive side to my candle at a diagonal. Next, I'll keep putting additional pieces of ribbon on, kind of keeping that same diagonal line and trying to space them out as evenly as possible. Now once I have all my ribbon on, I'm going to come back in with my scissors. I'm going to cut the ribbon so that it's nice and even with the top and bottom portion of my candle. And I'll repeat those steps on my second candle, so I have 2 candy cane candles. Now I really wanted to create something to put these candy cane candles in, so I picked up some glass containers at the thrift store as well as some candle holders. Now I didn't like the color of my candle holders, so I took them outside and spray painted them on the top and bottom with a red spray paint. Let that completely dry. I picked up some flat greenery from Hobby Lobby, and I will say with this project, using flat greenery is kind of the key here. I'm going to cut all of the pieces of greenery off of my stems. Next, I'm going to hot glue the greenery onto the side of my clear containers. Now I kind of alternated my greenery, so I had some taller ones and shorter ones just to give a little bit of variation. Now, once you have your greenery on, you're going to cut it off at the bottom so you don't see any hanging off of the bottom of your vase. I felt like I needed to add something to the bottom of the vases to finish them off, so I had some red satin ribbon in my stash. I'm going to measure that around and cut it off so there's about probably an inch extra when I wrap it around, and then I'm going to hot glue it onto the back of my vase, and I'll wrap it around and hot glue the other side in place. I'm going to add some E6000 to the top of my candlesticks, making sure I get enough E6000 to the top edge of my candlesticks. Then I'm going to add the glass candle holders on top, and I'll let these dry completely overnight. You can style these with regular candles, or you can put your candy cane candles inside.
The faux snow as well. I'm always crafting with this. This is such a good buy.
One of my favorite items to decorate with for Christmas are pine cones, and you can pick them up at the store or you can just find them outside. For this next project, I'm going to be using a combination of ones that I already had from outside and ones that I bought at the store. I'm also going to be using this block that was just a scrap block for me. The size of it was 4 by 4 by 4. I want to create a pine cone tree. So in order to do that, I'm going to drill a hole into my wood block. I'm also going to be using a 1-inch circular dowel rod. I'm going to add in hot glue just to really secure that dowel rod in place. I'm going to stain this piece with a dark wood stain. You could definitely go lighter or paint it or whatever you like. I'll let this sit overnight. Now the next day when I came back, it was time to add the pine cones. Now for this project, you're gonna need a variety of pine cones. You're gonna need some smaller ones, some larger ones. I also had these ones that I had found around my house that were longer. Those actually worked perfect for the base of this. So I'm gonna start by placing the longer pine cones about, I would say about 4 inches up from the bottom on my dowel rod. Really, I kind of didn't know how this was gonna work out, but I added a bunch of hot glue and held these in place. Now for your bottom 4 pine cones, you're gonna have to really kind of hold these in place for a while until they have a chance to set. I added about 8 pine cones and I noticed that it wasn't super secure. So I decided I'm gonna add a little bit more hot glue and I'm gonna let this sit for 15 minutes to really harden and let my base form. After about 15 minutes, I felt like that strategy worked really well because my base was really formed and I was able to keep adding additional pine cones. After you get your base on, you really want to start thinking about the shape of your tree. So as I was adding in different pine cones, I was really trying to make that cone shape by adding in the different levels. Now it doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to do your best to kind of just make that shape as you're going up. I also added one pine cone to the top of my dowel rod. I noticed that after I was putting on the top pine cones, I had several gaps. So I came back in with several smaller pine cones and added those in where I felt like I needed a little bit more pine cones and to fill in the shape. This next step I was really hesitant to do because I liked the look of it. I loved all the different colors, but I wanted to add some paint to it. So I started on the back because I figured if I didn't like it, I could always just not paint the front and it would still look great. But I did end up liking this. So I used an ivory paint. It was just a sample paint I had on hand, and I just used a foam brush to paint on the outside layers of it. I also decided to paint the base layer and my stem a little bit as well. I wanted to give it a little bit of sparkle, so I added some Mod Podge to the base and the stem. I also wanted to cover up some of the glue that had fallen down as I was putting my pine cones on, and I just added some faux snow around the base as well. This is definitely my favorite project in this video. I love how it turned out. I would love to see your guys' recreations if you make this. You could definitely show it off in our Facebook group. If you're not a member of our Facebook group, it's a great community where you can share your DIY, so you definitely want to go join. And here's a final look at how my pinecone tree turned out.
And of course, these Dollar Tree Christmas trees are a must. They're super affordable and great for decorating for the holidays. We definitely have to do a wreath for Christmas.
So for a wreath, I'm just gonna be using the outer wreath form. I also picked up some inexpensive greenery from Hobby Lobby. Now I'm gonna start by positioning my greenery on one side. I'm gonna do that by wrapping the base around my wreath form, and then I'll just kind of move around the branches until I like the way they look. I'm gonna repeat those steps on the other side by wrapping greenery on the other side, really making sure to get that base twisted around my wreath form. I'm going to add some additional hot glue at the top on the back to hold that greenery in place. Now recently I bought these adorable bells off of Amazon. They come in a pack of 10. I'll link them for you down in the description box, but I thought they would look so nice on a wreath form. So what I'm gonna do is just grab some twine out of my stash, and I'm going to tie one of the bells to the center portion where I have the greenery meeting at the center. I'm gonna wrap some twine attaching the bell to the center portion of my wreath. Now with two other bells, I wanted to add those as well, but I wanted them to be a little bit shorter in height. So I just tied a knot in the existing twine, and I'm gonna use some more twine to hold them in place by tying a knot next to that center one. So in total, I have 3 bells on my wreath form. One of the tips I like to do whenever I'm putting together a wreath is I actually like to hang it up, because I feel like I can see it a little bit better and see what it's going to look like when it's hung up. This is a great strategy to do to kind of decide, do you need to add more? Do you need to take away whenever you're creating a wreath? Once I took a step back, I wanted to move some of the branches around a little bit more. I also felt like I needed another greenery texture. So I went into my stash, found another stem that I already had on hand, and I'm just going to hot glue a few of those greenery pieces in place. You really don't need a lot of greenery for a wreath, just a couple pieces here and there to give it a little bit of texture. A rule of thumb is to use 3 different greenery types when you're making one wreath. It's gonna look so much more full. Even if you're sticking with the same color, it just gives it so much texture and variety. I added in a few pine cones with hot glue, and here's a look at how my wreath turned out. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you comment the word of the day, which is bell.
Dollar Tree has some funky trees out right now. This one is pretty interesting, and I also like this swirl one. This is just sitting here randomly, but they have these trees on high-end sites, so they're definitely a good item to pick up. I love these reindeer. There's so much that you can do with these. All right, these have to be new this year. These sleds are so cute. There's a bunch of different styles. I'm gonna try to use these in a DIY.
So I picked up one of these wood sleds and I thought, you know, if I change the stain of this, I feel like it could look a lot more high end. So I grabbed my dark stain. I've been loving the dark stain lately, and I'm going to use my foam brush to brush on the stain. You want to make sure that you do the underside as well. And I just put the stain on with my foam brush and wipe it off immediately with a paper towel. I'm going to stain the entire piece, let it sit overnight. I'm going to add back in the twine that was already on the sled. Next up is the reindeer, so I'm going to spray them with 2 coats of a matte black spray paint. To make the antlers stand out a bit, I'm going to be using some gold rub and buff with a foam brush just on the antlers and the ears. You can style the reindeer with the sled or have them on their own.
This year, you're gonna find so many DIY signs. These make perfect crafts and you can make them look so high end. I love this little ornament. I feel like this would be so fun to paint. I definitely think this set of 4 snowflakes is new.
So with my wood cutout, I'm going to make a wall art piece that you can sit out in your decor. I'm also going to be using some spackling. Now they sell this at Dollar Tree or you can pick it up at any home improvement store. You want to put a generous layer of spackling onto your wood piece. Now, after you get all your spackling on there, you're going to come back in and I'm going to be using a Dollar Tree craft tool. I'm going to be using the back side of my craft tool to create a uniform shape going across my tree. Now, if you get excess spackling on, just wipe it off in the tub so that you really create a uniform shape. Now there's going to be a lot of spackling, so let this dry completely overnight before you try to do anything with it. The next day I came back and everything was dry. I spray painted with 1 coat of a white matte spray paint. Now, while my spray paint was still wet, I used some faux snow from Dollar Tree and I sprinkled it onto my piece and concentrating the snow at the top, and then I kind of just did it lightly as it went down. Now you can lean this against a vase or lean it against a wall if you want to, or hang it on your wall, but it's a great addition to your decor.
I know this has absolutely nothing to do with Christmas, but I just found some organization that's pretty amazing I have to show you. First of all, there's this expandable little container so you can make it fit the size of your desk drawers. I also found some marble sticky notes, how adorable, and velvet push pins. And then look at these, you guys. These are little pencil containers and they have just little baubles in them. They have a square one and then they also have the circular one. I'm definitely inspired by those push pins, so I'm gonna grab this frame for a DIY.
I thought these pieces would make a really fun photo frame or card frame that you could sit out for the holidays, and we're gonna be doing some non-traditional colors. I had some snowflakes that I purchased last year off of Amazon. I'll link them for you down in the description box. I'll place those onto my cork piece. I'm gonna be using some of those push pins that I bought at Dollar Tree to hold them in place. Now I'm gonna go outside and spray paint my cork with a matte white spray paint. Now one of my tips, you wanna make sure that when you spray paint, in order to not make your snowflakes move around, you wanna spray paint over the top very lightly. Don't go too close to what you're spray painting. And I did just 2 coats really quick over the top. I let that dry completely. Once it dried, I was able to remove the snowflakes and I had a fun snowflake design on my cork. I removed the glass from my frame and then I put the cork inside of the frame with the backing. I cut the cork down to size so that it would fit in my frame. With those blue velvet push pins that I picked up at Dollar Tree, I'm gonna put those into my cork. You can use them to hang up photos as well as any cards that you may get for the season.
Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for you and me.
Along with the new items, I also pick up some of the same items every year because they're so great to DIY and craft with. These plastic ornaments are great, especially these larger ones. You can do so much with these. I love checking for new vases. This one has definitely caught my eye and I think would work for Christmas.
This green vase is perfect to style in my Christmas decor. I'm just gonna remove the topper and I love how it turned out.
All right, you guys, it's your turn. Vote for your favorite project down in the comments below. Let me know which number is your favorite. Don't be afraid to try that project you've been wanting to try. And remember, it doesn't need to be perfect. Make sure you subscribe because I want to see you back here. Bye.